There can't be a mask list without Felix Potvin. Okay, well, he's an honorable mention then. We're doing my top 10 favorites of all time, so prepare yourself because there will be snubs. But before we get there, I want to address that I missed one mask for the Every Goalie Mask Worn This Season ranked from worst to best series. When Michael Hutchinson was traded, before he wore this, he actually wore this. So that was the upgrade. That was the upgrade after he got traded. And it was basically dead last in the entire ranking. And so that tells you exactly how bad of a miss it was for me to leave this poor mask off the ranking. It would have just been slotted right behind. It's not going far. I did not miss much. Anyways, let's go over a few notable masks that did not make my top 10 goalie masks of all time. Such as this mask that John Davidson is wearing while staring at someone like he's got murder on the mind. The original mask from Clint Benedict. And the mask of Jacques Plante, who really got the mask game going. This Markstrom mask that was apparently trying to replicate the placement of Chris Tanev's teeth, which I think is amazing. I just love that. That was the idea going into this. Let's make this look like Chris Tanev. There's also this Patrick Waugh mask with the Sinister Mountain. I really, really love this one, actually. I didn't really know he had this. Before looking into things today. I thought that was really cool seeing this, actually, and not something that makes my top 10, but something that I'm like, that's a thumbs up from me. That's a big thumbs up. And another thumbs up, one of his teammates, David Abisher. He's got a nice Yeti mask here. Love that. Moving on from that, we have the one that people are gonna be like, that is not on your top 10? Are you kidding me? I'm turning this video off. Ed Belfour's mask is one of the most classic, one of the most iconic masks when you're thinking of past goalie masks. And so, I don't know, it's just not something that really screams out as something that I personally think should be in my favorites. But it's still a mask I wanted to at least put on here. You know what I won't put on here though? Marty Brodeur's mask. There is no way that should be anywhere near a top 10 list.
Whoa, 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 hey, hey, hey!
Ooh, I might have angered some people there, but honestly, like, the only thing going for Martin Brodeur's mask is that it's Martin Brodeur that was wearing it the whole time. It really is nothing special. So, I'm not even putting a picture of it on here. But while I may have angered some people with that comment, and while I may have angered some people with putting this outside the top 10, just wait until a couple clicks from now. Before we get there, though, I have Gary Bromley's mask. Maybe that angered people, too, that I did not have this in my top 10.
You serious?
I also have Danny Sabarin outside the top 10. This I don't think will anger people. I just wanted to shout him out because this is a mask that I have always loved ever since watching hockey, or I don't know, it was very early on that I saw this mask when I was younger getting into hockey, and I absolutely loved it. And so, yeah, this is a big one for me personally, but even this one did not quite make my top 10. And probably the most iconic mask of all time, outside of perhaps Jacques Plante's mask, that might be more iconic. It's Gary Cheever's mask. I did not include that. Awesome story behind this, though, is that those stitches are from every time a puck hit him in the mask. And he would have, I believe it was his trainer, maybe it was someone else, he would have him draw a stitch where he would point out that the puck hit him. So, yeah, good stuff. I think that's pretty awesome. Great way of designing your mask, you know, every time you get hit, here we go. But now for my ultimate honorable mention. I wanted to put this in my top 10, but I felt like it shouldn't count because I did not think it is actually worn during an NHL game. I think he only wore this in warm-ups, and he did not get to wear it during NHL action as far as I could tell. So I didn't feel like I could put it in my top 10 NHL masks of all time. But this mask is awesome. I love this Louis Domingue mask with Blasty on it, with the flaming horses. I really, really, really love this, and I think it's so well done. Plus, there's a novelty to it, too, in that if you pour a certain temperature of water over it, it will change the color of the flame that's on Blasty's forehead, which I think is really cool. I think that's awesome. But with that, let's get into our actual top 10, starting with Stephen Valiquette. And I have always really, really loved this mask ever since I've seen it.
Are you serious?
It, of course, made my top 20 back when I made another top 20 list, which, oh my goodness, watching that over again, I'm like, wait, I didn't have this mask in it? I didn't have that mask in it? What was I thinking? Well, I was thinking pretty well when it came to this mask, because this definitely is a solid one in my eyes. Love the addition of Spider-Man as not just something plopped onto the mask, but as the overarching thing that covers Stephen Valiquette's face. And then you have the addition of the bricks kind of falling. Love that. Liberty on the side. The other buildings like the Empire State Building on the side. And what's that other building called? I'm actually not 100% sure. But anyway, just a real awesome NYC mask from Stephen Valiquette. Moving on to number 9, we have Brian Hayward's Sharks mask. Love this mask. This is a classic mask, and just so good. Now I will say though, I could not find a good front-facing picture of Brian Hayward, and so technically the mask in the middle is a different mask from the other two, and the one that I would actually have as number 9 is the one that is on the sides. So I would have that one. I really like the look of that one, but they're both iconic, and so yeah. And maybe this is a good time to explain my ground rule, because I didn't explain it before, but I'm only including one version of each kind of type of mask. Take, for instance, Ed Belfour with his eagle mask, and he's getting traded to different places. If he had been on here, I would only have included my favorite of his eagle masks and nothing else. So that's how I'm doing it. A good time for ground rules, right? Nah, maybe a little late for that, but we're into it. So as we go on, we'll just keep that in mind, I guess. Number 8, we have, I think, the only mask from before the cage kind of style came in, and that is Michel Dion. I think that it's a little bit generic just to have, you know, the Penguins logo and the colors. But my real reason for having it so high is just that the mask is shaped beak-like. To actually form your own goalie mask into a beak-like thing. It looks like he's going to Venice and he's gonna like join a masquerade there. It kind of looks like that as well. But honestly, for being on the Penguins, like, this is perfect. Give yourself a beak if you're going to be in net. I think that is the coolest thing. I think it's so awesome. You can tell by the paint chips on the one part of the mask. He's taken a few off the schnoz there, but I think this is awesome, and I think this is well deserved for him to be here at number 8. Number 7, and from this point on, it is that newer style of mask that we are focusing on. I didn't have any more above Michel Dion, but at number 7, we have John Van Beesbroek's Florida Panthers mask. I love this. I would have loved it even more if the full thing was kind of that gold color and they didn't have kind of that blue on the one side instead. But either way, this is amazing. Love seeing that Leaping Panther logo. It's just the best logo in sports, in my opinion. and to have that placed as the main focal point of the entire mask, I just think is awesome. And I mean, everyone was kind of doing it in some way back then. You know, you had Cujo doing it, you had Brian Hayward doing it, you had Andy Moog doing it, which, by the way, I did not include a picture. I was going to include him in the honorable mentions. I was. So, let's go back to honorable mentions. Andy Moog. He's an honorable mention, but he's not on this list. So anyway, coming back to John Van Beesbrook, we have him in this wonderful mask, and everyone was doing it back then, but that doesn't make it any less special and awesome when we see it here. At number 6, I have the number 1 mask of 2022 and 23, which is Freddie Anderson's Angel Demon War mask. And I just absolutely love this. I think it's a masterpiece. And here's a zoomed in version of the side, so you can kind of see, you know, you got the demons fighting the angel, you got the other angel getting ready to stab that demon. And I just think this is an absolute work of art.
That belongs in a museum.
I absolutely love it. And I wonder if I'm rating it a little lower because I'm afraid of recency kind of bias. But this might grow on me over the years, and this might move up the rankings as we go on from here, because I just absolutely love this thing. But overtaking it for now, number 5, we have the man that I've been talking about more than almost anybody over the course of my ranking videos with every goalie mask ranked. We have Curtis Joseph himself, and the variation I like the most is this variation where he is in Toronto in, I believe it was 08, 09, maybe it was 09, 10, sometime in there. And so it was kind of his second round with Toronto, but I love the mask that he had during that run. And if you call it a run. But anyway, I love this mask, and yeah, just an iconic look and an iconic thing to do for Cujo here. Number 4, we have Mike Richter. This was my favorite for a long time. It's kind of gone down a little bit, but I still love it so much. I think it's so iconic, putting Lady Liberty right on the front there. And yeah, love this one. Number 3, we have Trevor Kidd's Dragon's Mask. I love this. I've loved this since I was a little kid. I saw this mask before I even knew what hockey even was. And yeah, my dad had a little goalie mask thing from McDonald's, which actually did not really look like this. So it wasn't really, I knew this mask before. I knew the McDonald's version, which was, you know, a lot less cool. Let's just put it like that. But this is awesome. Always loved this mask ever since I saw the real thing. And yeah, just awesome stuff. Number 2, we have Patrick Laleem's Iceberg.
Are you kidding me?
And I feel like I might get I might get a little bit of a heat for this one. But again, it's my opinion, it's my ranking, and I have always loved this one ever since I was little as well. And so this was another one where back playing NHL 98, I looked at the goalie mask thing that they had on there, and I absolutely love this one. It was my favorite, I think, back then. I believe so. And it wasn't my favorite for a little bit, but I always loved it, and now it's very close to being my favorite again. I feel like the nostalgia factor of this really drives it in my own eyes, and so for me, I just love this penguin breaking through the ice. I just think it's awesome, just busting through, and yeah, it gives me that Pengu vibe, actually. Could this be Pengu? It could. It could, I don't know. But in first place, I have to show you one variation of it first before I show you the one that I've actually chosen as my number 1. So the one variation, and this will tell you whose mask it is, who I have as number 1, and that is Ole the Goalie Olaf Kolzig. I just wanted to show you this one first because I think it's awesome, and I think it's one that we don't see very often, that he actually originally had Godzilla as kind of that overarching thing, like the Panther, like Cujo, like Andy Moog. And I just absolutely, absolutely love this mask so much. But because of my rule of, I just want to put one variation of things on here, I went with the cup run, where they fell short, but the finals run, I maybe should say. Olaf Kolzig Zilla mask. Always loved that it said Zilla at the bottom. Always loved that Zilla was on the top. And this has always been one of my favorite masks. I was very surprised when I watched my old video to see how low it was actually ranked, because for most of my life, this has very much been one of my favorites ever. And right now, I just feel like there's nothing better in my eyes. I absolutely love this. I think it's, in my eyes, the greatest goalie mask of all time. And maybe not the most iconic, right? But to me, in terms of the style and that I like, and just the artwork that's on there, and the nostalgia kicking in full tilt for me, this is my favorite of all time. So you may be disappointed, you may not be, but that was my top 10 goalie masks of all time, and I hope you have a great day.
Yeah, yeah.